Hi, let's take a look at buying an electric car, shall we? Because I get asked this all the time. Dave, why don't you have an electric car? When are you going to buy one? They're fantastic. When are you going to get a Tesla? Etc, etc. I've actually done a video on this. When was this? This was back in April 2018. So that was a while back, about how much it costs to buy a Tesla in Australia. And we'll go through it again because it's an interesting topic. And look at this. The sales statistics that show electric car surge is underway in Australia. Woohoo! It's happening. Amid a terrible year for new car sales, there is one clear bright spot, and that's category of Australia has long lagged in. Sales of hybrid electric and electric vehicles doubled in the first 6 months of 2019 compared to the first 6 months of 2018, even as new car sales fell 8.4%. Look at this, like doubled in a year. It's happening. I better get an electric car. Well, yeah, let's take a look at it. We are actually considering an electric car at the moment, or a hybrid. Anyway, we're looking to upgrade Mrs. EEVblog's car, which is our big car that we use for going on trips and, long trips and stuff like that. Shove the kids in and the bikes and all the luggage and everything, and we can go on trips. And we're considering maybe a hybrid for that. And I've always considered an electric car as well. At the moment, I drive a 2014 used Toyota Corolla. It's a great car. It's cheap, reliable, and does the job, gets me from A to B. Anyway, I'd love an electric car, but let's go through the practicality of electric cars in Australia. Now, this is different to other countries. Like they mentioned in this article, which is just fairly recent, it's this month, they mentioned Norway, of course. 58% of new car sales in Norway are electric. Woo! Fantastic. Like, I love electric cars. I would want one, but we're going to see. Look at the practicalities of Australia for getting an electric car. And of course, a lot of these countries, they will subsidize electric cars. Australia doesn't do that, which is why we're going to take a look at the pretty horrific situation it is in Australia to buy an electric car at the moment. So this sounds very promising, and I'm sure it's going to go up from here, but it's not gonna, I don't think in 2020 it's gonna suddenly go up by an order of magnitude, and we'll see why fairly shortly. So let's have a look. In fact, if you go over to plug-in electric vehicles in Australia, there's a wiki article on this. 2017, the total registrations over from 2010 to 2017 were 4,420 in a country of 20 plus million people. There's not many electric cars in Australia, and we'll see why. So these are actually old figures, but as we saw, the 2018 figures, 6,721 hybrid car sales. And these figures don't include any of the Teslas either, because Teslas don't sell through traditional dealers, which is where these numbers come from. They sell privately, and they keep those sales numbers fairly close to their chest. So it's hard to get figures for that. But Teslas are not hugely popular in Australia, as we'll see once again very shortly. Stick around because it gets interesting. But anyway, that's interesting, isn't it? Petrol cars, ICE cars, internal combustion engine cars going down in sales, electric cars going up. So it's looking good. So anyway, if you are looking at Tesla numbers, the estimate has put it at 2,000 Tesla cars over the 6 years in Australia. So that includes from the Roadster, Model X, S, and the Model 3 will be shortly delivered here. So yeah, but as we'll see, it's like I'm not racing out to buy a Model 3, and there's a reason why. And here's just a expected figure if numbers double each year from now on, from 2019. 13, 40, 26, and boom, up it goes. That's if they double. They may or may not. I don't think they're going to double. And here's an article from February this year. Australia EV sales remain at pathetically low levels in 2018, data shows. Yeah, it's not that terrific. Oh, hang on. This one's got data. Tesla sold 1,410 Model S and Model X cars in 2017. There you go. And it's probably safe to say 2018 figures would have been the same as well, because they're not really growing. In fact, given that the Australian dollar has been dropping in the last couple of years, that really impacts the viability of the Tesla here in Australia. So in 2018, that was about 0.3% of all cars sold. It's not much. You don't see many on the roads. Although, ironically, just downstairs, I just parked next to a Tesla. I might show you, actually. Nope, I just went downstairs to shoot some video and it's gone. So anyway, it's a Tesla. It's a boring white one. Anyway, there's a breakdown of passenger SUV and LCV, which is a light commercial vehicle. Anyway, I wish someone would update this wiki article with the latest one. Anyway, the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, which is an SUV, plug-in hybrid thing, is the biggest selling electric car in Australia, I believe. It outsells the Tesla. So, and the Nissan Leaf would be the next most popular one, I believe, in recent times. So we're actually considering the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV as like an upgrade for our current Nissan Dualis Plus 2 car. It's like a 7-seat thing. The Mitsubishi Outlander, it's also like a 7-seat one as well. Good for, family, which is what we need. But unfortunately, the battery option in that, it's like 50 kilometers range. It's almost like it's bought like, yeah, it'll get us like around here, but it won't even get us, barely get us to the base of the Blue Mountain. It won't even get us up to the Blue Mountains, really. So, yeah, it's not that great. But as a daily use thing, it would certainly get us around fully electric, no problems. And that's the first thing. In Australia at the moment, there's no way, even if I could afford a Tesla, which we'll see in a moment is a huge stretch, probably like a full-on electric car is unsuitable for us for our family trips and things like that. Australia's a big place, and when you need to drive places, it's just, even if you had the charging stations available, it would still be really a pain in the butt. So really one of these hybrid solutions, if we're going to get something, it would be a hybrid. I could get a fully electric car just for me, just for scooting around and stuff like that, but then I can't drive long distances. It's like, yeah, the infrastructure just isn't in place at the moment. And you still have, and even if the infrastructure is still in place, you still have the issue on long trips of having to actually wait to charge these things up, especially if you're driving like 2-hour stretches, especially if you're driving from like here to Queensland or here to Whoop Whoop. Okay, it looks like somebody has recently updated this, April 2019. I don't know if, I'm not going to go through and find every electric car available in Australia, sorry, but it is very limited. A lot of the cars you can get overseas, they simply, the market's not here in Australia, so they don't even bother importing them and making them as an option. You would have to like find a dealer, buy it overseas, and then fully import it yourself if you really wanted one here. And then you've got to get the right-hand drive version of it. So, nah. But ones that are super fast, the Hyundai Kona, which is a 5-door SUV, that's looks like it's $61,000. I haven't confirmed that. Of course, things like the Jaguar, these are like luxury cars, like the BMWs. Just like, yeah, really nice cars. Same with the Teslas. Awesome cars, but not really affordable. Let's actually go and check out the price of the Tesla, shall we? Let's go shopping for a Tesla, because I would love to own a Tesla, but let's look at the practicality of this. Let's get the Model S. Let's go for broke, okay? Custom order. Is it like, I don't know, order now. Confirm location, New South Wales. Let's just say it's for personal use. Oh, geez, it's starting from 123,500 Aussie buckaroos, Aussie dollary-doos. That is 83,717 Aussie bucks. That's not on the road. We're not even close yet, okay? That is the cheapest one you can get, right? So let's go next. Let's see what it is on the road. Like, let's just go, like, seriously, let's just go for the cheapest price, okay? Let's just go next. We don't want any extra. Autopilot included, select option, right? We don't want anything. Let's just go right through your Model S. Ta-da! Drive away price, after all, like on-road charges and everything else that we have here in Australia, $146,140. I only have to put down $5,000 now. Like, that's like almost, that's not quite, but let's round it to like twice the average Australian income. As a baseline, the average adult Australian brings home about $83,000 a year, something like that. So yeah, that's an expensive car. And we have in Australia what's called the luxury car tax. And we have Mr. Sheen to thank for that. All my Australian viewers will know who I'm talking about here. Anyway, the luxury car tax is payable by businesses who sell or import luxury cars. So it's basically added on. Tesla don't get a free pass on this. If they import a car that's worth over a certain amount of money, they want to sell it here in Australia, they get charged by the government the luxury car tax. Of course, they add that on and pass it over. And it's currently, luxury car tax threshold currently $64,000 for 2016. Increased threshold $75,000 applies to fuel efficient cars. So that would include electric cars, I think. So I believe the new Model 3 is just under or exempt from the luxury car tax, but the Model S certainly cops it. And I know you want to know what the top Model S is. Let's go for red. We want, yeah, the 21-inch wheels. Oh, an extra $6,000. Yeah, now we're talking. 2,800 extra. Let's go for that. That looks pretty sexy. Self-driving. Yes, so if you want full self-driving autonomous car, it's an extra $8,500. Thank you very much. And maybe I'll tell you at the end my opinion on self-driving cars in the future, so stick around for that. Don't jump to the end. It ruins the YouTube metrics. Personal, business, 200,000 smackers. Thank you very much for a top-of-the-line S. It didn't give us like the battery pack option. Isn't there like a extra unlimited, but you get free unlimited supercharging. Woohoo! Anyway, that's being silly, okay? Obviously, I can't afford that. Let's go for the Model 3, which everyone in California is buying. You know, it's the hipster car of choice now, isn't it? 620 Ks range. That's like fantastic, right? It's really freaking good. So let's order this baby. Let's order the new Model 3, which I don't think there's any in the country at the moment. I think they're coming like in the next month or two. You can order one. You can order one now. Here it is. $66,000 is the absolute base model unit. Okay? To me, $66,000 is an insane amount of money for a car. My Toyota Corolla, you can buy like a new one of that for $20,000. I know they're not equivalent, and a lot of people are going to say that, but look, I just need a car to get me from A to B. I'd love to get an electric car, but this is basically 3 times the cost of another. I know it's not an equivalent car, but it's, you know, quite a reasonable car. To me, like here in Australia, right, and I consider an expensive car to be like probably over 50 grand, something like that. We've never spent that much money on a car, and like even if we went for the PHEV, that's like a 50 grand level car. So that's like, whoa, you know, we're like, whoa, rich bastards, right? Getting a Mitsubishi PHEV, or considering getting one. I don't think we ultimately will with its lousy little 50-kilometer range unless they improve it. So no, I think we're going to hold off on the electric car at the moment. We're just going to get along with the current Nissan Dualis. But anyway, like 66 grand, that's a lot of money, right? And that's we're not even there yet, okay? That's the base model. So look, like, let alone if you want long range, okay? This one will go 460k. The long range will go 620, but 460 is still a lot, right? So I'd still be happy with that. Okay, I'm not fussy, although I'd really like the red, but it's $2,800 because red goes faster. But you know, look, let's be tight ass, because I am a tight ass. Here we go, cash, and select option. Right, once again, the full self-driving capability, extra $8,500. No thanks. I don't. I want to drive the car myself. Right, it's $70,000. That is a really expensive car here in Australia. A lot of people go, oh, I just, you know, borrow the money and buy it. No, right? I don't want to spend 70 grand on a car. That's seriously expensive car. And don't believe this price after estimated savings thing. That's just like if you take out like petrol and you choose electricity to charge it, of course. And I'm not going to bother with those sort of calculations. It's 70 grand. That's what you got to pay for it. And if you want the Model 3, fully optioned up with the self-driving capability and the extra range, $117,000. Woo! Because there are no subsidies for electric cars in Australia. We've got to pay potentially luxury car tax on certain cars. Not sure if you'd pay it on this one. It might if it bumps it over a certain price and things like that. I'm not sure how it works with the options, but and then you've got to pay to import them here. Then you've got the exchange rate into Aussie bucks. The Aussie dollar's falling in comparison to the US dollar. I'm not sure how it's doing compared to the euro and stuff like that if you import a car from Europe. But anyway, it's not good, right? Teslas are really expensive. This is why I don't own one. They're seriously expensive. It's at least 3.5 times more than what my current Toyota Corolla costs. But hey, Dave, you can buy a second-hand electric car. Well, let's have a look at car sales for electric cars, shall we? There are currently 283 electric cars for sale in Australia, and we can actually sort these by low to high price. The Mitsubishi minicab, look at that. I can buy a 2011 minicab with 63,000 Ks on the clock for 90, and eevBLAB. I've looked at the eevBLAB before, and it's just, it's not the thing. The why Mrs. eevBLog won't let me buy it because it doesn't have a safety rating. Okay, anyway, let's go down. Look at Nissan Leaf. Even like 15.5 grand for a 2012 Nissan Leaf. That's almost 8 years old, right? For 15.5 grand. Sure, you might be able to get it a bit cheaper, right? But look, right? Seriously. We're up to 20 grand or near to 20 grand already. We can't get anything less than a 6-year-old second-hand car. So it's like 2014 for 19 grand. It's got 86,000 Ks on the clock. What's the cheapest Tesla we can get? 75 grand is the cheapest second-hand Tesla, and that's 6 years old, or 5 years old. Like, yeah. No thanks. Right, and if we go, if we clear that and we say Nissan Leaf, which by all accounts is a pretty decent electric car, right? 15.5 grand is the cheapest one, but it's like 7 years old. You really have to go all the way with LBJ right up to, you want to get like a recent one, you're pushing 30 grand now. 30 grand before you can get a 5-year-old Nissan Leaf. Like, wow. Secondhand, like 2015, 2019, 53 grand, drive away. There you go. It's got almost 10,000 Ks on the clock, and it's $53,000. So the new ones, I think they've just got in the new, no, it is a 2019. There you go. It's a nice pale blue, isn't it? Anyway, 53 grand, right? This is an expensive car for like a Nissan Leaf. I don't know. How much are they in your country for a brand new car? Leave it in the comments down below. Here in Australia, it is seriously expensive to buy a new or used electric car. It's almost, I consider anything over 50, 60 grand as practically in the luxury car price category. And here's an article just published. Yep, August 16th. Yeah, the other day. Yeah, yesterday. Nissan Leaf versus the Hyundai Ioniq. That's a real crappy name, really. That is just crap. Yeah, budget electric car comparison review. We put Australia's 2 most affordable EVs to the test and find that being an early adopter costs a hefty premium and calls for a lot of patience. Driving an electric car is like sailing. Quiet and environmentally friendly, they are the choice of the wealthier among us and deliver a warming sense of satisfaction. Battery-powered vehicles give you time to reflect on such metaphors, usually while waiting for them to charge. A 400-kilometre day trip in the 2 most affordable electric cars, Nissan Leaf and the Hyundai Ioniq, needed 2 lengthy stops to take on electrons. Charged in sequence, that's about 2 hours to consider electric cars cost too much. Price from 50 grand. These are the cheapest electric cars in Australia. Plus, that doesn't include on-road costs. The second generation Leaf arrives as the world's best-selling electric car. There you go. The world's best-selling electric car in Australia is, it's probably like 55 grand here in Australia. That's a lot of money when the average Australian income is like just over 80,000 a year. That's a pretty pricey car. Now, this is interesting. A smash-hitting country such as Norway, where they get subsidies, the Leaf costs 16,500 less than a Nissan X-Trail in Oslo. But in Australia, right, we pay $25,000 more for the Leaf than the Nissan, than the X-Trail. Like, that's how insane it is here. Like, it's not just a little difference. It's like, it's completely weighed like this. It's just nuts. And yeah, you'll find, the thing is, the dealers here won't even carry the electric cars. The other weekend, we went to have a look at the Mitsubishi Outlander, just to, you know, put the feelers out to see if we liked it. It's not a bad, I actually quite like the Mitsubishi Outlander. It's the electric and the petrol one is absolutely equivalent, apart from you can't get the bigger motor or bigger petrol motor in the EV version because the batteries take up space, and it doesn't have a spare tire. They actually take out the spare tire from the bottom and put the battery pack in there, so you only get 50k range on it. Yeah, which, like, it's not much at all. Anyway, it is, I think it's like 10 grand more or something. Anyway, the dealers don't even carry these electric cars. You've got to, like, book in a test drive with the main dealership, and like, we booked in a test, like, haven't even heard back from them. This was like 2 weeks now. Haven't even heard back. Hey, look, we'd love to buy a Mitsubishi PHEV. We'd like to take one for a test drive. Nobody gets back to us because the dealers, I was talking to the guy there, he says, yeah, we just don't bother, like, because nobody wants them. And the new Leaf apparently has the potential to pump energy back to your home on the grid. Can serve as a backup battery. That'd be cool. I'd love to do that. See, I'd love an electric car because I'm into solar. I got the solar on the roof and everything. You've seen my solar videos. I'm sure you'll have. Anyway, there you go. If you're wondering why I don't have an electric car, it's because they're too darn expensive, and I'm not going to buy the Model 3 at what was it, $70,000 for the cheapest Model 3 and drive away price, and for the fully optioned up, just the Model 3, $117,000. You want a Model S, top of the range, 200,000 smackers. Thank you very much. Like, and just the Nissan Leaf, like 55 grand, something like that. It's absolutely crazy. This is why, okay, they've doubled in the last year. That's terrific, but they're not going to double again and double again. Why? Because the primary problem with electric cars is, well, A, we don't have subsidies, okay? Subsidies can make it cheaper, but it's ultimately coming out of my pocket as the taxpayer. So I'd love to get a cheap electric car, but, you know, not at the expense of sucking off the government or the taxpayer teat. So that money doesn't come from free, it comes from the taxpayers myself. So yeah, the subsidies, yeah, it's good to get subsidies to get the market rolling and all that sort of jazz. You know, there's decent arguments for that. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but yeah, there's no subsidies for electric cars in Australia. Unlike solar, we had the huge solar subsidy. That's why there's massive solar uptake here in Australia, because these subsidies made it, those lucrative, tax subsidies, and it was just crazy. You're practically getting paid to install solar panels way back in the day when it was 60 cents feed-in tariff, which is gone now. But yeah, anyway, maybe they'll bring in a subsidy of some description to help improve it. But the problem is electric cars can't compete without these subsidies. They really would have a serious hard time competing, because just the battery pack for the Tesla costs more than a brand new car, an ICE car, right? Internal combustion engine car. It's just crazy. And there's no technology on the horizon that's going to magically drop, halve the price of battery packs. Battery technology is getting better every year, but we're talking like single-digit percentage better. It's not, yeah, there's some technologies out there, and you put it down in the comments, go for it, what your favorite technology is that's going to drop the price of batteries or increase the capacity by an order of magnitude, and then so they can make them smaller and it costs less. And I just don't see these huge leaps and bounds happening. No matter, all this money's going into Tesla gigafactories, everything else, and it's just, it's not happening. Their electric cars with like really good range are still seriously expensive, and that's not to mention the issue of like having to charge them up. That fossil fuel that took tens of millions of years to produce, and all that compressed organic matter, it's hard to beat. the energy density and the cost at the moment of that. There's currently a glut. We won't get into that. But anyway, yeah, it's just from a financial standpoint, it makes absolutely no sense to buy an electric car here in Australia. And that's unfortunate because I want one. I really do. But yeah, seriously, when a Nissan Leaf is 55,000 Australian buckaroos, dollaridoos. Yeah, well, anyway, I promised to mention something about autonomous vehicles. Not going to happen for the foreseeable future. I'm sorry, everyone's talking, it's a couple of years away. It's a couple of years away. Yeah, it'll still be a couple of years away. I'd be surprised if autonomous vehicles are dominating by the end of next decade. Seriously, I'd be, flame me down below if you want. I don't think they're close to ready to roll out on a mass scale. I just don't see it happening. Anyway, that's potentially another video, but yeah, no, I'm not going to be driving an autonomous car or autonomous car driving itself anytime soon. That includes the Tesla. So yeah, flame away, go on. But anyway, hope you found that interesting. That's why I don't have an electric car as much as I would want one. Once again, we pay the Australia tax. Catch you next time.